Awesome, guys. Welcome. So we have a very special guest today. We're going to be talking about maintaining and experiencing optimal health with cleansing and why it's so important. My name is Brittney Carr, and if you're tuning in to our trainings for the first time or you're new in our health group, we want to welcome you and acknowledge you. Thank you so much for being committed to changing your health, shifting your health, and also learning about things that can assist you within the Isagenix nutritional cleansing system and, of course, just holistic health in general. So I have the honor and privilege of introducing a really extraordinary woman, and her and I, she's actually been a client of mine for several years, but we met through just being activists and busy holistic mamas. She's a mama to 3 amazing little girls. She's also a certified health coach, and she has a background in organic chemistry, and she used to work actually in the pharmaceutical industry doing research in a lab. So she has, and now she's gone totally to the holistic side with her family, and she's really passionate about health, and we'd connected a couple weeks ago, and I thought it would just be so much value for the group to really understand why cleansing and detoxifying our bodies are so important. So she's going to break that down for us, and also what makes Isagenix different. So welcome, Christy. We finally made it on. Yay.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's so great to have you here. So can you tell me a little bit, you have, just an amazing bio, background, busy mama 3, you have all this knowledge. What originally attracted you into learning organic chemistry? That's like a really serious thing to study. So tell me a little bit about your background.
So I come from, my father is a physician, and I come from the medical, that medical family. And I actually went into college studying to be pre-med. So I thought I was going to become a doctor, and I was so interested in all that. And the first thing you have to take, when you're a freshman in college for pre-med was chemistry. And I just fell in love. Like, I just knew it was so easy for me. My mind was like purring, it really felt great. So I just kept on that path, and I spent my 4 years of college in a lab. And then after that, I worked at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, was working on cancer research, and then went into the pharmaceutical industry. Spent a lot of time, literally hands deep in chemicals, making drugs. That whole world, but I enjoyed it very much. But when I got pregnant with my first daughter, I had a real strong feeling like I need to get out of this. Like, even though they kept saying, oh, there's safety precautions and oh, it's safe, like my gut started to really kick in that, I don't know if I want to be exposed to all of this anymore. And I don't know if I want my children to be exposed to this. So I got out of that realm and started researching more about natural nutrition and products and things like that. And it was just, once I started to learn that side of it, there was no stopping me, and I've gone completely away. So now I am super holistic and, just really try to live a very clean, healthy lifestyle in every way, shape, or form. So
awesome. And I know that's how we originally connected. We have the same passion of how we raise our kids and natural birth and breastfeeding and organic nutrition. So we had really connected on that note. And then that's when I had actually introduced you to Isagenix. So tell me a little bit we're going to talk about why Isagenix is so superior and what really blew your mind with all your knowing, now that people know your background, the brilliance that you have. And I mean, not a lot of people study organic chemistry. So I think that's a very specific niche and something brilliant to be aware of. What was kind of happening in your life, or let's go back a second. So let's talk about just the basics of cleansing and why is it important for someone to even want to detoxify their body? Like, talk about that just like on a biochemical platform.
So how I can best kind of describe it for people in a more practical sense is, now that I'm a health coach, and I'm specifically in a niche that is about Lyme disease and other Lyme-related type illnesses, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, autoimmune issues, things of that nature, that more and more people every day are having problems with, and doctors are kind of not having all the answers. They don't really know, it's just, I went through it all myself, and it was just kind of this, well, we're not really sure why it's happening. We think it's this, and this test is this, but it doesn't really make sense. And there were just too many big question marks. And through my own experience of getting sick and then healing myself, And then now working with other people for the last year and a half, you know, trying to get them well as well, I've found that everyone's kind of, I guess I realized that the cleansing part of it isn't just something that's woo-woo. You know, I think that there's this celebrity like, oh, I did a juice cleanse, or, you know, and we're just starting to really see that the chemical and medical importance of cleansing on a regular basis. And more doctors too are starting to become aware of this and starting to talk out about the importance of cleansing. And especially when it comes to these kind of chronic, mysterious diseases that they don't have another answer for, we're seeing that people, when they start to cleanse, their symptoms start to go away. They start to feel better. You know, and it's kind of this buildup over years and years and years. Like you always say, showering from the inside. I mean, if you can imagine not showering for 7 years or 10 years or whatever it's been, or your whole life, you know, you're going to have issues. So that's
absolutely.
That's what's happening. And, you know, I think that the more people realize that this isn't just this trendy, you know, it's not a trend, you know, and like I said, the celebrities are trying to make it kind of trendy. And and I remember when I started cleansing, it was not with Isagenix, but it was back, you know, almost 15 years ago, I did my first cleanse, and people looked at me like I had a third eye. Like, what are you doing? You know, and I was like, I feel really good. You know, like this feels good. So I'm glad that companies like Isagenix are out there getting the message out that like, this is a really important part of health. This isn't just some trendy thing that's happening. Like doctors are starting to become aware of it. People are starting to realize how much better they feel. And now when I'm treating clients, it's like, this is number one, because so many of these symptoms, why they have, you know, everyone's biochemistry is different, but it just helps to kind of have a clean slate. And then we can see if there's other things going on. You know, we can see if there really is, if Lyme or when, you know, anything else or an autoimmune issue is really the issue, or is it just that these things have come up because their body is just so toxic?
Absolutely. You just mentioned so many important things. And I think right now is a great time to just like put our little disclaimer in there that the Isagenix systems and what we teach in this group and on these calls, it's just information, and it's not intended to treat, diagnose, prevent, heal, or cure any disease or illness. But here's the amazing thing, and this is what Christy's breaking down for you right now, is that your body is amazing. Your body was meant to thrive and to be healthy, but it's overloaded with junk. And I love the analogy. Like, imagine if you never showered your whole life. Like, how crusty do you think you would be on the outside? Of course. And so people have never cleansed their body, you know, 40, 50 years, 30 years. And then all of a sudden they start a detox and they're not feeling well. And they go, oh, it's the product, or, oh, my body's not supposed to be doing this. Like, no, your body's trying to work. So could you walk us through, like, metabolically kind of what's happening on a cleanse day, specifically for Isagenix? I know you've done the Isagenix cleanse now. When somebody is not, quote unquote, feeling good, what's the chemistry that's happening in the body, and why is it so important to push through that? Because what is the body trying to do? Can you break that down for us?
Right, absolutely. And this is probably everyone's biggest sticking point, is that they start to feel worse before they feel better. And they think that, oh, it's not working. Oh, it's just not working. And when I'm coaching people through this and they're like, oh, I feel so sick, I almost feel like I have the flu or something, I'm like, yay!
I celebrate it. Like, yes, it's working.
Yeah, it's called herxing, a herxing reaction. And it's basically your body, what's happening is if there's bad bacteria or, you know, a gut imbalance or things that are, you know, in the body that just are not good, when your body starts to get them out and kill them off, they have a tantrum. And all those bad bacteria give off all of these toxic gases, and they basically go out with a bang, which can initially make you feel worse, but you're killing it. I mean, you're getting it out. And so everything's starting to shift, just as, like, you know, you said with, you know, an acid and base reaction. You know, if you are very, very acidic and you're trying to add in something that's more basic, you're going to have a little bit of a reaction there. I mean, acid and base causes a reaction. Like, your body is going to react, but it's actually a really positive sign. It means that it's working, and it means that you need it. And so if you can get through that and know that this is so normal and it's actually a really, really good sign, then getting through on the other side and how amazing you're going to feel and how much better your body is going to be and stronger your body is going to be. It's just knowing that, though, in the beginning, that this may or may not happen, but it can happen, and just getting through that and knowing that it's a good thing, that you're actually cleaning your body, you're getting it healthy, you're getting it stronger. It's something to be celebrated, I think.
Absolutely. And when I'm cleanse coaching people, I always tell them that if, and some of the cleansing symptoms, if you're brand new and you're watching this and you haven't started on our cleansing program yet, and you're kind of like, scared, our cleansing system is really gentle. And I'm actually going to have Christy talk about why she's aligned herself with this specific product, with lots of products out there, so many to choose from. Why would someone with her expertise choose to be aligned with Isagenix? We're going to talk about that in a second. But going through the process of understanding that if you haven't been taking care of your body for years, it's going to take you a while. Now, it's not going to take you years to get back on track. That's the amazing thing about the body. We can abuse the body for years, and then we can, in a couple months, totally shift our health, right? And I know that you've seen that with your clients too. I've seen it over the years. I've coached thousands of people through this. And it's really the 30, 60, 90, 120 day transformation that can happen when you're consistent. But that first 2 weeks, guys, is so crucial. If you're not willing to give yourself, your body, the space to start to reset from the damage and from some of the things that you might have put in your body. Now, I've been cleansing my body since I was 16 years old. I'm going to be turning 35 in 2 days, I think now. So it's been a really long time. And I wasn't always doing Isagenix. I've been doing Isagenix now for a decade, which is a long time to do anything. But before that, I was doing any cleanse I could get my hands on. I was doing herbals and I was making my own, and my kitchen was like a science experiment gone wrong, but I was studying it because my body was really sick. And my body was really sick because I had put toxic chemicals in it at a very young age, in the form of, recreational drugs, alcohol, things that I shouldn't have been doing at that age. But my body was damaged from it. And I felt like I was 60 years old at 16. And so I was willing to do whatever I needed to do to cleanse that out, to rebalance my system. And I did. And I'm so grateful that I went through that first resistance, right? Because that's what you're talking about, is people put good stuff in and then their body goes into, I like what you said. You said they're having a tantrum. I've never thought of it that way. Like your cells are the toxins are having a tantrum. They're like, nah, and they're coming out and they're kind of wreaking havoc. So tell us a little bit about what impressed you with nutritional cleansing, specifically with Isagenix, all the products and all your knowledge. What was so different for you that you were like, I want to be a part of this?
So, when I look at different types of cleanses, it's like, okay, I've worked with doctors who've said, okay, first we're going to do a kidney cleanse. And then when you're done with that, we're going to do a liver cleanse. And then when we're done with that, we're going to do a gut cleanse. And then when we're done with that, we're going to, and so it was just all these separate products for all these separate systems. And it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of time. And I would do things like that, or I'd do a juice cleanse. But with the juice cleanse, it's like I noticed that I just felt depleted, that I felt worse after the 3 days. I didn't get that rush of like, okay, I feel, like I got it out and I feel stronger now. I felt kind of depleted, that it wasn't enough to keep me going. I felt shaky throughout the day, things like that. And what really impressed me, I'm a chemist and I'm an organic chemist. And so when I looked at the Cleanse for Life, I looked at every single ingredient and I researched every single ingredient. And I can tell you that I am just so impressed with how much is in there, and how it's not, like you say, it's blood, liver, lymphatic, but they also have stuff like the aloe vera and the DCL that help protect your stomach and help protect your stomach lining and things like that. So they've kind of covered all the bases so that you don't have that depletion. It's not this kind of toxic shock type of thing to your body. It's very supported, and it's, the balance of everything. And so you've got like the Pau de Arco in there, which is for candida, so you have some in there for candida, and you have, like I said, the DCL and the aloe vera for your stomach lining, and you have stuff for liver support. And, it's so well done. And if you were to research, like if you had candida or liver cleanses or whatever, if you were to do research on different things, you would get this whole list of all these different products that you should take, or you should drink this tea and do this. And it would just be 50 different things. And the Cleanse for Life is all there. It is, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it really has all of it. I mean, even down to like, it has the betaine HCl, you know, it's just everything to help your body assimilate everything, you know, so it's not just expensive urine. Like, it actually has the stuff in there to help you break it down and utilize it. So I was so impressed with this product and the whole system, the cleansing system in general, because it keeps your body, your blood sugar stable. It keeps, you know, kind of flooding you with the nutrients throughout the day so that you are able to like get through that herxing and you feel like you can get through it, because it's not going to just completely, you know, take you down, because it's so supportive. It's got all of those additional elements to kind of keep you going. And the Ioniq alfalfa, for example, which is in this, like, you know, that in itself is just an amazing, and that's what sets Isagenix apart, honestly. Like, I am a huge believer in minerals. I work with a doctor who is big on just minerals being the key to health and how our mineral balances affect all of our functioning. But you know, to have that in there, so you're literally not depleting yourself. You're getting all this stuff out and you're flooding your cells with all of the minerals and things that it needs, so that the little tantrum they have is a little less, you know? A little less.
I love it. It's such a good visual. And years ago, one of my coaches at Isagenix had said, you know, when you're drinking your shake, you know, all your cells are going, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Right.
Like, hear it, you know, all the way down. And people feel that way. And I've heard people describe it, you know, they drank a rainbow and, you know, all these different things that we kind of, you know, in our culture of Isagenix, we share. But the cleansing is so important, because one of my goals is to make people not afraid of cleansing, but to be so inspired by cleansing, to be so inspired by what body can do when you give it the space to cleanse. And the result of that is that the clean health moving forward, the mental clarity, the digestive system balancing out. You know, your body was meant to work properly. It was not meant to be sick and diseased. That is something that you've been kind of brainwashed, right, by our society to think is normal. Like, it's not normal to be sick in your early 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Like, it doesn't matter what your age is, your body can be vibrant and healthy at any age. And I think what you said is so powerful, the synergistic blend of everything coming together. And that's what I was, and I don't have a background in organic chemistry like you do, but I'm also a science nerd, you know, just by choice. And I was because I had studied detoxification for years at that point, and I couldn't believe it was all in one bottle. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I've been trying to recreate this in my kitchen on my own, spending thousands of dollars and not really getting the result. And like you said, like, I would do these cleanses and I never felt better. I always felt depleted. And that's why the Ioniq alfalfa that Christy mentioned is so amazing. It's one of the key factors that really sets Isagenix apart is the minerals, because that's what we're so depleted in from society, because our food sources have been disrupted. Our soil bases have been contaminated by, you know, pesticides and GMOs and all these things in our food supply that have disrupted the mineral balance in our food. And so you have to have minerals for proper health. So you can talk a little bit about, there's a lot of women in our group. Obviously we have men and we coach men, but just from a mothering woman's perspective, because you just had a baby, your baby's a year, right?
She's 10 months, yep.
Yeah, 10 months. Okay. So, and you used Isagenix through your pregnancy like I did. And I just did a video on Isagenix in pregnancy. So if you are pregnant or nursing, you know, make sure and go watch what you can and can't do, because you can't do deep cleansing while you're pregnant for obvious reasons. You don't want to be flooding the toxins into the baby, right? But you can still enjoy our nutrition. And Christy and I did that through our pregnancies as well. But just kind of going back to talking about the formulation and the ease of it. Now, with your clients, when you've used other things, where do you feel most people fall short when they're cleansing? Is it because they're overwhelmed with the amount of things they have to take, or is it because of how they start feeling and they don't have the nutrients going back in? Have you experienced that in your practice?
Yeah, I all of it. I mean, I have people who, you know, they see like a 21-day cleanse and they literally are on these different, they have to rotate through different supplements. Like the first 7 days you take this pill 3 times a day, and then the next 7 days you do this pill 3 times a day, and you're taking these shakes and you're doing, and it was just too much. Like they were just so confused. When do I do what? And I'm just feel like I'm popping pills all day. And, you know, it was just this long drawn out process versus one day a week that they can cleanse with Isagenix. And it's like, you know, here's exactly what you take each hour, boom, 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 boom. They can bring it with them. You know, they don't have to be home, and, you know, it's not like they're sitting by a toilet all day or anything. I mean, they can just go live their lives, and it's 24 hours and they're done. And it's like, wow, it's so easy. It's so much easier, you know, so that's
So much easier.
Yeah, so much easier. So that's part of it. You know, and then also, again, the depletion, the getting through that stage when you're doing like a 1 day cleanse. It's like, okay, I might feel a little off that day, but you are getting that nutrients. And then the next day when you get that shake in and you're just getting flooded with all that nutrition again, your body just responds so beautifully that it's a really quick, you know, I mean, it's not weeks and weeks and weeks of just feeling terrible. You know, it's really kind of just a shorter period of time. So I feel like people are much more apt and able to get through that.
Yes, accessible for the average busy person that wants to be healthy. So talking about just the minerals really quick, because that's what I wanted to mention, and I lost my train of thought for a second. But especially for women, the minerals, can you talk about why minerals are so important for our brain chemistry? Like, we see an epidemic of women that are not happy in the brain. And we can't say, you know, any medical terms here, but just if you've ever been not happy in your brain, especially certain times throughout your, you know, cycle and all this stuff, can you talk about why minerals are so important and nutritional cleansing specifically is ideal for women for this?
Right. Okay. So there's two parts here. So the first one about the minerals. So, you know, there are more and more doctors now. You know, people think like, oh, I take a multivitamin and it has some minerals in it, and, you know, that's enough. And they don't realize that there are over 72 different trace minerals, and that those minerals are so important. Like our bones, for example, with women, it's like, oh, just take calcium. Well, actually, if you take too much calcium, it can set off a whole imbalance of all the other minerals, and they all work so synergistically that you have to get all 72 trace minerals daily in order for everything to work. You know, it isn't, you can kind of choose and pick which ones, and these are the ones that are most researched and the most important. It's really, they're all super critical, and more doctors are seeing this. And that's, again, why Isagenix is just so impressive, because that Ioniq alfalfa is in almost every single one of their products.
Everything.
Yeah, so
it's in everything. Yes. And for those of you that don't know, our Ioniq alfalfa contains all 72 trace minerals that your body requires to work synergistically, to create healthy cells, to create healthy tissues, organs, glands, all of the things that our body requires. It's in there.
Yeah, and it's like doctors too have forgotten basic biochemistry. If you take, you know, just basic biochemistry, the first year of medical school, they're taught all of this. They're taught about, you know, the transfer in and out of the cells and the different minerals that are needed for that, and somehow it all just kind of gets forgotten, like they just aren't important. But I have seen it, you know, in myself for sure, and every single one of my clients, I'm always talking about minerals and how important the minerals are, and getting them on a trace mineral, or, you know, if I introduce the products, and they start to just feel better immediately. And it really, I believe, has a lot to do with it, because their bodies are getting all those little tiny trace minerals that it needs to function properly. So that's a huge part of it. Yeah,
and it's huge. It's in the Ioniq, it's in the shake, it's in the I mean, it's in the hydrate. Like, we have it. It's like, it's interwoven, and I think that's the brilliance of John Anderson. And for those of you that don't know, that you're newer to Isagenix, John Anderson is our formulator. He's our flagship formulator that started Isagenix. We have 50 scientists, biochemists, organic chemists, toxicologists, world-renowned scientists and doctors, nutritionists that work full-time with Isagenix at our corporate side. But John was the original creator of it, and he knew about trace minerals, that it was the missing link to human health, and it was really what we were missing. So he was determined to create a product where you could have that to be easily accessible to the average person. And here's the other thing, Christy, and I want you to talk about this for a second, because I know you and I have done some gnarly cleanses, I'm sure, back in the day. Yeah. But taste, right? So minerals don't taste good. Minerals are funky, and they are not enjoyable to consume by themselves. So the fact that Isagenix tastes so amazing, that's the brilliance of our formulation right there, because people can actually consume it and they can benefit from it. So could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so that is exactly right.
We've got.
Did you freeze up?
Christy is.
Oh, are you there? Hello? Uh-oh.
Let's see. I think she just froze for a moment. Just go ahead and speak to what I think you were going to talk about. There we go.
Are you back?
I'm back.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. What we were talking about the minerals, and what was the question specifically? Do you remember?
Just the taste of it. So we'll wrap this up too, because my thing starts, every 30 minutes. I feel like it out here. So just the taste factor, like if you were going to consume trace minerals by themselves, I mean, how disgusting would it taste, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, if you've ever done it, it is the most salty. I mean, it's worse than drinking like seawater. I mean, it's very, very, it's almost like a bitter, salty taste. It's
and it's intense. But Isagenix isn't like that. I mean, it's delicious. You'd never know that there were so many nutrients. And I think that's a brilliance. And I think that's why we've gone to the level, a $5 billion plus company worldwide in 14 different countries, because people want to feel good, but they also want to enjoy what they're consuming. Right. That's hugely important. Taste is definitely a factor, and they want to be able to consume it long term. That's the brilliance of our system. So for those people that are brand new to the group, or they're just starting their cleansing journey, what are some words of advice for them to stay in the game, stay along, go for the gold?
Okay. So two things I want to talk about really quickly here. So one is, I just got finished watching this whole docuseries about broken brains, and how we have this epidemic right now of broken brains, and how people, depression, anxiety, ADD, just dementia, Alzheimer's, all these different things. And they were talking about how, obviously we all know for a healthy body, healthy life, it's good nutrition, exercise, sleep, sun exposure. But now there's a new player in the game that more and more people are seeing as just as important as all of that. And it's toxic overload. It's our toxic exposure. And there are a lot of people who are skeptical of cleansing, saying like, oh, our bodies do it naturally. We don't need to do that. It's overkill, things like that. And what I want to say is just that maybe in times past that was the case, because our bodies could handle the amount of toxins that they were exposed to. But we live in a world now where it is just like the EPA ups the level of acceptable toxic limits every year. And it's like, okay, well now it's this level, and it keeps getting higher and higher and higher, and we're just being bombarded, and our bodies are showing, everyone's showing signs of distress, that their bodies are not being able to handle it. So, for anyone who's out there who's saying, I don't need to cleanse, like, oh, my body's fine, it does it on its own. I really urge you to maybe give it a try, and to see that I wish that were the case. I wish that we lived in a world where it was just so minimal that we could do it on our own. But I think that that's going to be the difference going forward between those who stay well and those who start getting sicker, is the ones who are proactively getting these toxins out of their body on a regular basis. I think it's going to be super, super important. I think more and more and more people are going to see the benefit. And again, you experience the benefit. Just give it a try, try it, and, you will feel better. Like, I know you will feel better, because everybody feels better because they're healthier. Their cells are purring, it's like they're getting all the gunk out, and they're clean and healthy, and they feel great. So I think it's a really important thing, and especially with our kids too. And that's another reason I love the Isagenix. Like, the Cleanse for Life is safe for kids you said 4 and older, right?
4 and up. I mean, 4 and up. My kids call it their purple juice. I get the little bottles, and I put them in my fridge, and my kids just come, they get a little bottle. It's like the size of the eShop bottle, and they just drink it. And oh my gosh, as a mom, to be able to start at a young age, because as a parent, and if you are a parent listening to this, our children are exposed to chemicals that weren't even created when we were born, and they've been soaking in immense utero. So even if you're healthy, you eat your spinach salad every day, like, it doesn't matter. Like, your kids were grown in a toxic soup in your belly because your umbilical cord blood, they've tested umbilical cord blood. I talk about this in my book, but there's over 250 some toxins found in the baby's blood at the time of birth. So that shows us that the placenta, it doesn't protect you from the toxic exposure. We are born toxic. So if we can give our children anything that can assist them in just helping their liver and their organs and their cells a little bit, to get a little bit stronger while we're in an age where there is, and I love what you said, like, I wish we didn't live in a toxic culture either. And we just could just like, grow our own food and not have to think about, glyphosate and all these things that we teach. Right. But that's not the reality. We have to look at the reality and look at our culture and say, why are we getting so sick? Why are we so overweight? Why are we so depressed? Why are we on so many medications that aren't doing anything except making the cycle bit worse? And we have to start to open our mind to other things. And so for me, 10 years ago, it was Isagenix. For you, a couple years ago, it was also Isagenix, like coming into alignment with you're looking, and there's all these things, but it's too overwhelming. So I love the simplicity of it. And I love Broken Brains. You told me that on a call the other day and I have it. I'm going to look up this. I haven't watched this documentary yet either, but I want to. It's called Dr. Hyman, right? Dr. Hyman. Yes. It's on my list of things to watch. So we just encourage you to keep doing your research about cleansing. If you have any questions, please reach out to myself or Christy in the page. Between the two of us, we have, like 20 years something experience, right, doing this and helping people through it. So I just thank you for your knowledge and your time. We're so blessed to have you on the team and your background, and you're just amazing. So anybody that has questions, you can comment when we post the link. You can put it in the feed, or you can private message me or Christy. We'd be happy to assist you with your cleansing questions. And just moving forward, know that Isagenix is not a diet. It's not a quick fix. Like Christy just taught us, this is a lifestyle approach to wellness. You're never going to stop showering or brushing your teeth. So you also should never stop cleansing your body. It's just in alignment. And that's what I choose to do in my family, and Christy does in her family too. So thank you for being on. Any last thoughts before we wrap that up?
No, just thank you for having me. I'm glad I'm a part of this journey and a part of this group. And, I hope that this will help people, inspire people to like get cleansing and get on the program and start to feel better.
Absolutely. And look at her. She's like a vibrant mom of 3, right? She's got 3 little kids and she's like beaming and healthy because she takes care of herself. So thank you guys.
I wanted to tell you real quick, with my 3rd baby, someone just commented, I started Isagenix when I was pregnant with my 3rd baby, and someone just commented how they're like, I noticed a difference after this baby. Like you look like you have more energy. You look like you feel better, and I wasn't doing it with the other 2. It's like people have noticed the difference in me, even though I have 3 kids, it's like they see that I have more energy. I'm more full of life, as opposed to not before I did this.
Absolutely. And were you able, I know you nursed your babies too, were you able to bounce back to your pre-baby weight and your healthy weight pretty quickly? Yes.
I never even thought about it. I kept doing my thing and using the program, and it just fell right off.
This falls right off. Yep. I'm 3 pregnancies in and same thing. So that's such a good share. And thank you for sharing that, because moms in the group that will find value in that. So again, thanks for being on, guys. Thanks for dealing with our technical issues, but we love you. We'll see you next time. We'll definitely have Christy back on for other talks. So take care, guys. God bless.
Bye.